Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Today, I want to honor one of my Dharma tributaries, Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the Jungian analyst and cantadora, storyteller of the Gypsy Mestizo tradition. She wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves, a book I recommend for everybody, especially for women, to get in touch with their goddess energy. And she talks a lot about creative fire. What is it to have that ability to tap into something within yourself and bring forth something that's never been seen before on land, air, or sea? If you stop yourself from doing what's natural, then it kind of cripples or twists something that's really vital inside yourself. It's as if everybody has this spark or ember in their psyche, and it seems to be hidden for a time, but when you find it, you realize there's something that's untouched and pristine about it. Now, the thing is that in the old days, stories used to be the way they would explain what's going on in the depth of a human being. One of my old favorite statements from James Hillman was, mythology was the psychology of antiquity, and psychology is the mythology of modernity. So old stories like Persephone, where Demeter's daughter gets taken away by Hades and taken into the underground. It was a way of the pastoral people, agricultural people, trying to explain the seasons and how there's light, beauty, and growth part of the year, and then there's darkness and things shutting down and the winter aspect. So this becomes like a creative cycle that you have to learn to tap. It flows like an underground river. It disappears for some time, like in the winter when the branches of the trees look inelegant, although the growth is going on underneath. And then it reappears, it reemerges again. Now, unfortunately, what happens is most people don't understand this life-death life cycle, which is another way of honoring the Earth Mother. And so when we're younger, trauma tends to twist our ability to recognize this and flow with it, and then it doesn't work in the right way anymore. So we all have a creative potential that can come to fruition, but sometimes it seems to lie fallow or disappear for a while. So the whole idea is to recognize this up and down movement and not try to push things like when you have writer's cramp or something like that. You can't produce it by consciously willing yourself to make it happen. Sometimes what you have to do is let it go or turn your attention to something else. Or you realize that things grow, they reach a peak, they go to seed, and after they've hit their maturity, they start to decline, and finally they go back into emptiness or nothingness. And yet, as we know, those things that die, like manure, you put it back on the soil to make it more fertile. So you see there's a benefit to the stuff, to letting things die, and that's another intuition you get, knowing when to let things go, when to let things die, when their shelf life is over, expiration life is over. No sense in trying to resurrect it. Let it go. This happens in creative pursuits. It happens in relationships. Sometimes there's a lull in the relationship. It's not just belly up, dead in the water. It just goes through that periods where you need that sense of separation or need that sense of isolation, and then you renew it and you bring back new vital energy, and it comes up again, and your creativity is there. So if you don't learn this, then you can get frigid at a certain point. You can feel barren at a certain point. You can feel that everything that looks like it's above ground is wilted, and there's no sense of working towards anything in the future. Hang in there. Even when it seems lonely, even when it seems cheerless, even when it seems that it's undercutting everything else that your conscious mind is working for. You're not wrong, you're not off, it happens to everybody. But if you recognize it, you can swing with it, and then hopefully you can dismantle the inhibitions that usually shut you down, and you can come back into a creative state of play. And the best way to do that, of course, is to remember that laughter is a great way of countering depression. So find those things that make you laugh.